This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, and welcome to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. All right, so today is Thursday, March 1st. All right, today is how the show is going to go. I think we're going to start off. What are we going to start off doing? Should we start off with the Browns, or should we start off with yesterday's NBA games, all right? Because James Harden pretty much ended Wesley Johnson's career. Not literally, but figuratively, okay? So he did that. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about the NCAA. Because I guess there's a whole lot to come from it, like the whole NCAA investigation and stuff like that. Now people are starting to hate the NCAA even more, I feel. And ESPN put out a report that I've been talking about the last couple of episodes, about how Sean Miller was caught on an FBI wiretap telling an agent that to give DeAndre Ayton $100,000 so he'd come play with them at Arizona. Now it's looking like that might not be completely true. All right, Sean Miller's back. He's denying everything. ESPN stands by with their report, so maybe we'll do that segment here. Let's see what else we got going on. Maybe we'll talk about Miami and their quarterback situation. I think it's looking like they might be moving on from Tannehill, possibly. All right, maybe that. And like I said, for the fourth segment, at least what we always do, talk about anything else going on in sports, and then make my picks for tonight's games. I think I got 2 picks wrong yesterday. All right, the Pelicans did well yesterday, beating the Spurs. We'll talk about that game. Let's see, the Pelicans, they're in the 5th spot right now in the West. LaMarcus Aldridge sprained his ankle, I believe it was. So, I mean, he's going to be out for a little bit. And the Pelicans might very well just jump up to that 3 seed like I was talking about. And if they do, I don't know. The Pelicans, maybe they could make a run to the second round and then lose to the Rockets or Warriors, but I don't know, that's kind of crazy too. Like the Pelicans are a pretty good team, but I mean, they're not getting past the second round just because you have to play the Warriors and Rockets. So that's pretty much how the show is going to go. Let's see, what do we want to start off with? Let's start off with the NCAA. All right. Let's talk more about it. It's a big story, so we just got to keep going, be fluid about it, just keep going, talking about it, all right? So let's talk about the NCAA. All right, so obviously we know that this investigation's been going on, and pretty much there's been reports coming out. ESPN put out a report, like I said right now, a few moments ago, that Sean Miller talked to an agent, told him to give DeAndre Ayton $100,000 so he'd come play with Arizona. Since then, it's looking like ESPN has kind of backed off a bit on that report, saying that Sean Miller actually discussed payment with the agent, and now Sean Miller is saying that he never did that. He's never paid a player and stuff like that. So, I mean, the whole Sean Miller saying that he's never paid a player, that could still be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's never talked to an agent about paying a player, all right? That's all. There's so many possibilities out of it. I mean, but like I said, he's back, and it didn't make, like, what I don't get is that if you didn't do anything, all right, then why did he not travel with the team over the weekend and coach one of their games? All right. ESPN put the report out, and Sean Miller just didn't go coach the team for that. All right. He didn't coach the team for that game. And that doesn't make sense to me, because if you're coming out here now, coming back to the team saying you're going to coach the rest of the season and saying that you did nothing, then why not go coach over the weekend in the first place? Like I said, it just makes no sense to me. But even ESPN here, all right, they have the report saying that DeAndre Ayton got paid $100,000 by Arizona. Sean Miller, the coach, talked to the agent, told him to do it, and now they're saying that he discussed it. All right, he discussed it with the agent, but I'm not sure if it really ever happened or whatever. All right, so I guess both are pretty much at fault here. I don't know, actually. Both are looking pretty bad still, I'd say. All right, Sean Miller for not coaching over the weekend, if he's saying that he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't pay players. And for ESPN, jumping the gun on this, all right? ESPN probably tried being first at it or whatever, tried creating a bigger story than what it was, because I'm sure Sean Miller probably did talk with that agent and did discuss some type of payment, but ESPN adding a little bit of sauce on it, all right, saying that he told the agent to give DeAndre Ayton $100,000 so DeAndre Ayton would go play for them. So, I mean, it's just a big mess going on. And then with just the rest of the NCAA investigation, I mean, like I said, it seems like people are starting to hate the NCAA even more. You got professional players like LeBron, Carmelo, and Kevin Durant saying how much they dislike the NCAA. LeBron James said that the NCAA was corrupt, and it's true. I mean, any business that can make money off of you and you don't receive payment or anything like that, I guess you could say is pretty corrupt. All right, obviously when you go to work and stuff like that, you get paid. You do work in order to benefit the company, but they give you money back. NCAA, the players go, they do work in order to benefit the company, but they get nothing of it. All right, they get nothing. You can't even go and buy a DeAndre Ayton or Michael Porter Jr. Any of those guys. You can't even buy them a McDonald's hamburger and without it not being a violation. All right, you can't go and give them a shoelace for their shoes. Okay, you can't loan them $1 if they're short at the grocery store. All right, you can't do any of that. And it's just pretty ridiculous too how, I mean, the NCAA, they'll sell their jerseys, okay? They'll sell their little posters, merchandise, all that stuff, and they'll make all the money in the world, but players like that can't get any of it. All right, I don't understand what the problem is with players signing autographs or whatever, getting paid for it, or players signing with agents or agents paying players. That doesn't make sense to me. What's so wrong about it, right? This whole amateurism thing is like, it's a sham. It's something the NCAA made up, okay? There's no such thing as amateurism. It's kind of like a job. I understand that people like to throw the whole, they get free education in their face. They're not there to go to school, all right? Throw back to the Cardell Jones tweet a few years ago. He says, why do we have to go to class? We didn't come here to play school. We came here to play football. All right? I don't think that's the exact tweet or whatever. That's pretty much paraphrasing it. But it's true. All right? School's not for everyone. You don't have to go to school. Okay? And people are saying, like, there's people that'll say, yeah, well, they knew they had to make the choice of it. Make the choice. You either play football and you have to go to school, or you just don't go. No, that's not how it works. All right? The only reason why they're going to school is because the NBA, or there's that rule that you can't go to the NBA straight out of high school, okay? If that wasn't a rule, then yeah, they wouldn't be going to school. No problem, okay? But, I mean, it's just ridiculous how it all is right now. And there's so many things that could come from this, so many things that could happen. I mean, the NCAA could just say, you know what? Whatever. We'll slap Duke, all those teams on the wrist, leave it be, and go on with their business. Or, I mean, there's, like I said, so many different ways, okay? That could happen. Or you could have it to where the NBA changes. Is it the NBA that has the rule where you can't come into the draft right after high school? I think it is an NBA rule. So maybe the NBA changes that. Or see, like, what I don't understand is the NBA has the G League, but can players out of high school not go straight to the G League? Because obviously in the G League you're getting paid. But, I mean, it just makes no sense. I figured that's what the high school players coming out of, obviously, graduating from high school feel that they're ready to go to the draft. I feel like, why not just go to the G League? Unless you probably do have to get drafted. Maybe that's the biggest thing right there. But either way, I guess, yeah, that's part where the NBA needs to change their rule. So, yeah, there's that. And there's the whole thing. Maybe the NCAA starts easing up a bit and saying, yeah, players can make money off their likeness. Because the schools, the one thing people say is like, oh, why can't the schools just pay the players? You can't have that because you got Title IX, right? And I'm for paying all the athletes, but there's this whole thing called revenue and making money and stuff like that. The basketball players and the football players, they make the most money. So obviously they're going to be getting a lot of it. But I guess, as you said, it's just not fair to everyone else. So I say, forget that. All right, you can just have it where it's legal for these players to make money, all right? Agents can pay them. They can make money off of endorsements. They can make money off of autographs and stuff like that. Just leave it like that. I don't understand why the NCAA refuses to let these players make money, okay? Like, literally refuses. You can't make money anywhere, all right, unless you get a job. And these players don't have time to get a job. The NCAA has had a stranglehold on this for so long, and it just makes no sense to me. Like, I don't understand the rationale. Like, I'm trying to talk through it and trying to understand it, but I do not get why it's okay for the NCAA. Like, they think this too, okay? They think, you know what? Or maybe they know. Maybe they know it's a sham, but it's okay because there's nothing anyone's ever done. no one's ever done anything about it. All right, that's why you got guys like Jalen Rose out here saying that the players need to boycott the NCAA tournament so change happens. All right, because maybe the NCAA just thinks, you know what, they're not going to do anything about it, so why even change it? There's no point. The basketball players might just very well need to boycott the tournament in order to ensure change. Okay, because if not, I mean, like I said, there could be stuff that comes from it. But, I mean, like I said, it just could all end up being nothing. NCAA was like, oh, whatever, it happened. But either way, I mean, going back to the whole ESPN Sean Miller thing, I mean, that's not done yet. ESPN standing by the report. Sean Miller's out here saying, no, it didn't happen. He's never paid a player. So, I mean, that's one messy situation. Then we got the ongoing investigation still where, I mean, a bunch of other stuff can come out. I'm sure there will. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out during the tournament, all right? And I'm sure that these little news media outlets, they have stuff that they're ready to report to, but they probably are just saving it for the tournament just so that way they have something bigger to talk about. Okay? Imagine, like, Duke's been paying players for the last 10 years or whatever. Coach K knew about it. Yeah, I'm going to release that story over the tournament. All right? Because that's going to be overshadowing them the entire time. So, I mean, like I said, when the tournament comes, I expect more to come out, but it's just going to be interesting to see what comes from it. Like, if in a perfect world for me, I'd say that all these top programs, leave the NCAA. And I'm not sure how possible that is. I'm just throwing this out there. I say they all leave the NCAA. All right, the NBA takes away that rule where you can't come into the draft after high school, and pretty much players have their choice. Okay, or like this too, like they have it in baseball. Right? You can enter the draft. If you don't get drafted or whatever, you don't like your position, then you can go back to school. They have to go back to school for 3 years, but I say take that away. All right, let's say these players out of high school come into the NBA draft, don't get drafted, or just don't like where they got drafted. Then you say, you know what, I'm okay. You go back to college and you go there for whatever, the 4 years or as long as you feel you're ready. All right, no cap on it. No, you don't have to be there for a certain amount of years. If you go there to college for 1 year and feel you're ready to go back into the NBA draft, then that's it. But if you go back into the draft twice, that's it. You can't go back to college, I feel. All right, so I feel like you should be able to do that. All right, you should be able to either have your choice of going to play for this new organization with the top programs like the Dukes and all that. You can get paid there, make money off your likeness or whatever. I think even if they broke away from the NCAA, then you could have these schools pay them because you wouldn't have Title IX, because Title IX is an NCAA rule, I believe. So you could do that. Or, like I said, you could do the whole thing where you can go into the NBA draft. If you don't get drafted or don't like your position where you got drafted, then you can go back to school. Or you can just go straight to the G League and develop there. So you have options, and either way, you get paid either at both places. All right. So I think they should be doing that. But like I said, I don't know. I'm not sure how this ends up. I highly doubt they break away from the NCAA. I highly doubt these players boycott the tournament. I mean, what it comes down to, like, I think the only thing that can come from this, the only two things is that, like I said, these schools get a slap on the wrist, or the NCAA starts letting players make money off their likeness. All right, lets them do the whole autographs, get paid for those, lets them sign with agents, and lets them get endorsements. Because, like I said, I don't understand why these players aren't allowed to get paid. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. But that's all I got to say about that. It's going to be a long process as to how this story unfolds and all that. Like I said, going to be a whole lot more coming out. So we're just going to have to stick with it and keep talking about it as more comes out. So that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we're going to be talking about we'll do the NBA games from yesterday. So we'll be doing that third segment. We'll be talking about the Browns, what they do as far as their draft picks and quarterback position and all that. And maybe we'll talk about Miami in that segment too. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. In that first segment, we just spent it talking about the NCAA, talked about ESPN and their report about Sean Miller, talked about how Sean Miller denied it, talked about how Sean Miller, like, it made no sense. If he's denying it, it made no sense for him not to coach this team this past weekend, but now he's back saying he's going to coach for the rest of the season. So, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of lying going on and a whole bunch of stuff that needs to come out eventually, so we know for sure what exactly is going on, all right? But that's pretty much the basis of what the first segment was about. This segment, we're going to be talking about the NBA games from yesterday, which was Wednesday night, so let's get into it. First up, we had the Charlotte Hornets on a 5-game winning streak facing off with the Boston Celtics in Boston, who was on a 3-game winning streak, and Boston pretty much shot the ball great in this game, all right? They won 134-106. For Charlotte, you had Dwight Howard with 21 points, only 3 rebounds in this one. I was really surprised about that. Expect him against a team like Boston. I mean, Boston's never really been that good of a rebounding team the last few years, but nonetheless, I mean, they did well against Dwight Howard. He only had 3 rebounds, shot 10 of 15 in that one. Kemba Walker had 23 points, 5 assists, shot 9 of 13, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Kemba Walker was on fire in that first quarter. Thought he'd probably do more, but I guess he did play well, shooting 9 for 13. Nicholas Batum, he had 7 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. Shot 3 of 11 in that one, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. Off the bench, you had Frank Kaminsky with 16 points, shot 5 of 10. And then you had Jeremy Lamb with 10 points, Michael Carter-Williams with 14 points, shot 5 of 5, and Malik Monk, who's been struggling all year with 3 points in this one, all right? As for the Celtics, you had Al Horford with only 5 points in this one, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 2 of 4 from the field. Jason Tatum, only 7 points, 3 rebounds, shot 3 of 6. Aaron Baines with 12 points, 10 rebounds. Kyrie Irving was on fire the entire time in this game. 34 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 13 of 18, and 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Jaylen Brown with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Then you had Marcus Morris with 15 points, 8 rebounds off the bench. Greg Monroe with 14 points, 4 rebounds. Greg Monroe didn't play the game before this, so it was good to see him come out and pretty much show that's fine. Going to go out and play hard whenever I'm out there. All right, and then you have Marcus Smart with 10 points, 6 assists, shot 4 of 5, 2 of 2 from the three-point line. And Terry Rozier had 14 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, shot 6 of 11, and 2 of 5 from the three-point line. This Boston Celtics team was really bad without Marcus Smart, but ever since he's been back, he's been playing extremely well. So, I mean, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, and I think that Boston has to re-sign him. There's just some players on your team where it's pretty much like they're like a spark plug, all right? You need them out there, and when they're not, like, there's just the little, how do you say, they just, like I said, there's just those players that provide a spark, right? Get the team going pretty much. The little extra, I don't know what to call it, all right? But either way, they need to re-sign Marcus Smart. If not, that might be one of the worst moves Danny Ainge could make by not signing him. As for the next game, we have the Milwaukee Bucks facing off with the Detroit Pistons, and Detroit won this one 110-87. For Milwaukee, you had Giannis Antetokounmpo with only 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in this one, played 30 minutes, shot 5 of 13, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Chris Middleton did have 17 points, only shot 3 of 10 though. Eric Bledsoe had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 5 of 10, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Then for the Pistons, you had Blake Griffin with only 8 points in this one, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 3 of 10. Reggie Bullock with 16 points, 3 assists, shot 7 of 14 from the field. Andre Drummond had 15 points, 16 rebounds. And then off the bench, you had Stanley Johnson with 19 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. And you had Langston Galloway with 13 points off the bench too. Once again, Detroit won that one 110-87. Big win for Detroit there, right? They've been struggling the last week or so. And for them to go out and beat a team like the Bucks, who are in the playoff or in the top 8 in the East right now, that's pretty good. So, yeah, Detroit won that one 110-87. As for the next game, you have the Toronto Raptors facing off with the Orlando Magic. And, of course, Toronto won this one 117-104. All right, for Toronto, you had Serge Ibaka with 9 points, 2 rebounds, shot 4 of 8 from the field. Jonas Valanciunas with 10 points, 5 rebounds. Kyle Lowry, 17 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds, shot 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 8 from the three-point line. DeMar DeRozan had 21 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 6 of 13 from the field. And then for the Magic, you had Aaron Gordon with 11 points, 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 9 from the field. Evan Fournier with 17 points, 4 assists, shot 6 of 15. Jonathan Simmons with 13 points, 4 rebounds, shot 5 of 8. Nikolai Vucevic with 14 points, 6 rebounds. And you had DJ Augustine with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Shot 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. One thing I like about Toronto is they don't need Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan to dominate every game in order for them to have a good chance to win. All right, this team is pretty solid all around. Their bench is one of the best in the league, at least I feel. All right, and they've been playing really well. I mean, look, you got guys like DeMar DeRozan only scoring 21 points in this one. Kyle Lowry only got 17, but nonetheless, they still won it by double digits. So that's what you really need for a team heading into the playoffs too, especially as far as the rotations go and all that. I mean, there's going to be times where you're going to need a certain someone off the bench to provide a spark, and they got a bunch of whole guys off that bench that can go out and do that, exactly that. So they're pretty set up nicely for the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see if they can finally get over that hump, finally make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. If not, then I guess it's just same old Toronto. And as far as Orlando goes, I mean, another day, I don't know how this saying goes. What's this saying? Either way, I mean, just business as usual, losing 18-43, just trying to get that good draft pick. So we'll see how it all ends up for them. I think the lottery's in June, I think it is, March, or June or May. I think in June. We'll see. As for the next game, you have the Indiana Pacers facing off with the Atlanta Mavericks, and I think that's 2 bad losses in a row. Right? Indiana lost to Dallas the other day. They lost to Atlanta yesterday, all right? Atlanta won this one 107-102 for Indiana. You had Thaddeus Young with 11 points, 5 rebounds. Bojan Bogdanovic with 26 points, 3 rebounds, shot 10 of 17 from the field, 5 of 9 from the three-point line. Miles Turner, only 16 minutes in this one, had 5 points, 5 rebounds. Corey Joseph played 31 minutes in this one, got the start, 0 of 5 from the field, no points. Victor Oladipo took 25 shots, only hit 9 of them, shot 1 of 9 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 22 points. Then off the bench, you had Domantas Sabonis with 14 points, 12 rebounds, shot 4 of 7, and you had Lance Stevenson with 18 points, 6 rebounds, shot 7 of 14, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. As for the Hawks, we had John Collins with 16 points, 7 rebounds, shot 7 of 9 from the field. Dude's been having a quietly good rookie season. No one's really talking about him since Atlanta's just really bad, but nonetheless, the dude's been playing extremely well. Then you had Taurean Prince with 15 points, 7 rebounds, shot 5 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from the three-point line. Dwayne Dedman with 15 points, 9 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder, 14 points, 5 assists, shot 4 of 13 from the field. Then you had Ken Bazemore with 6 points, 5 assists, shot 3 of 7 from the field, 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Pacers got to start winning these games, all right? If you want to be regarded as a good team in the East, you can't be losing to Dallas and Atlanta, right? I think they're going to, as of right now, they'd be playing Washington in the first round of the playoffs, and I'm sure Washington would be able to win that series in at least probably, but the most 6 games probably, because, I mean, Indiana, I'm not sure really what's going on with them right now. 2 bad losses in a row, and they were a team that were playing extremely well, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just like they don't have what it takes yet, all right? With the Wizards, I mean, yeah, they don't have John Wall, but they've been playing extremely well, and even when they do get John Wall back, I mean, that's going to be an even better team. Indiana, they're a great home team. They're 20-11 or 21-11 at home, but they can't win on the road, so I mean, it's going to be something that they struggle with in the playoffs. So they either got to lock up that 4th seed so they get 4 of those home games. If not, I think they're in trouble. As for the next game, we had the Golden State Warriors facing off with the Washington Wizards. I did pick Washington in this one. Thought I'd go on the edge. I mean, they barely lost by 8, so I guess that's a win. I wonder, did they cover? I don't know. I think the spread was like 8.5 points. So if it was, I won. All right. But either way, the Golden State Warriors won the real game, 109-101. Draymond Green had 11 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, shot 5 of 6 from the field in that one. Kevin Durant with 32 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 12 of 20 from the field. Then you had Steph Curry with 25 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Klay Thompson had 13 points, 3 rebounds, shot 5 of 11, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. For the Wizards, you had Markieff Morris with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. Satoransky had 11 points, 5 rebounds, shot 5 of 8 from the field. Otto Porter, 29 points, 10 rebounds, shot 10 of 17 from the field, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Bradley Beal, not a great game from him. Who knows? If he would have played a little bit better, maybe they could have won this one, all right? He had 8 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 15 from the field, 2 of 8 from the three-point line. Kelly Oubre Jr. had 17 points off the bench, 4 rebounds, but did shoot 4 of 16 from the field, 2 of 8 from the three-point line. So, I mean, very well so. If Bradley Beal and Kelly Oubre play a little bit tiny bit better, then, I mean, the Wizards probably win this game. But obviously they didn't. Obviously you can't hang your hat on ifs, all right? So either way, I was wrong about that. As far as the Warriors go, I mean, not much to say about them. We already know what they are. Best team in the league. Should be winning games like this. As far as the Wizards go, I mean, they're what? Let's see, 6-4 in their last 10. Playing good basketball. I mean, I think they were on a nice little 3-game winning streak or something around there. Can't remember exactly. But either way, I mean, they've been playing good basketball, so there's nothing really to worry about in Washington. Just got to hope John Wall gets healthy for playoffs. And yes, I know if you're a Wizards fan, you're probably thinking that maybe you're better without John Wall, but you're not. All right, you need a guy like that in playoffs. So we'll see how quick he heals up. Probably be back before playoffs, maybe. But either way, I mean, I like their chances against Indiana, even without John Wall. As for the next game, though, we had a battle of the two teams tanking, right? We had the Phoenix Suns facing off with the Memphis Grizzlies. If there was ever a time where Adam Silver could find any of these tanking teams, you might as well throw it at the Grizzlies and Suns every time they play, all right? So the Suns won this one 110-102. You had Dragan Bender with 7 points, 5 rebounds. Josh Jackson, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 9 of 16 from the field, 1 of 1 from the three-point line. That guy is getting better and better as the season goes on, and Phoenix might have done something with him. And you had Alex Len with 6 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 3 of 5 from the field. Alfred Payton with 19 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from the 3-point line. Alfred Payton's been playing extremely well with the Suns since he's gotten there. I think he's probably had a bad game or two, but either way, it's been more good than bad. Devin Booker, he had 34 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, shot 12 of 29 from the field, 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. For the Grizzlies, you had JaMychal Green with 12 points, 12 rebounds, shot 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. Marc Gasol had 22 points, 13 rebounds, 7 of 21 shooting, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. Ooh, you had Ben McLemore getting the start in this one. That's where you find a team like Memphis, all right? They're out here starting Ben McLemore. Yeah, that's definitely a sign of tanking. Yes, we had 5 points. Andrew Harrison had 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 of 11 shooting, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line. Andrew Harrison might be building himself a nice little NBA career. All right, and then off the bench, you had Jarrell Martin with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. But once again, the Suns won this one, 110-102. No TJ Warren in this one, but he didn't need him. All right, you got a guy like Josh Jackson, like I said, who's been playing well all year. Next year, he's going to be a real good player, I feel. All right, he started off the season pretty rough. He wasn't playing that well, but I feel like as the season has progressed, he's been developing a whole lot more. So, I mean, you got a nice little core. Josh Jackson, Devin Booker, maybe Alfred Payton. You just got to figure out the 2 big men, all right, as far as the number 4 position, number 5. TJ Warren might be the guy there, but I'm sure TJ Warren eventually is going to end up leaving to contender eventually. So we'll see how it all ends up. But Suns got 2 solid players, 3 if they're able to keep Warren. As for the next game, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder facing off with the Dallas Mavericks, and OKC won this one 111-110 in overtime. Should that concern us at all that it took OKC overtime and a 1-point win to beat Dallas? I mean, I don't know. Carmelo Anthony, though, he had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 of 14 shooting, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. Still struggling all season. Paul George, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, shot 8 of 18 from the field, 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. Steven Adams had 9 points, 12 rebounds, 4 of 4 from shooting from the field. Then you had Russell Westbrook with 30 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 11 of 25 from the field. Didn't hit a 3 in this one. As for the Mavericks, you had Dwight Powell with 21 points, 8 rebounds, shot 10 of 13 from the field. Dirk Nowitzki with 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Harrison Barnes, he had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. Dennis Smith Jr. with 17 points, 6 assists, shot 6 of 18 from the field, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line. And then you had Wesley Matthews with 11 points, 7 rebounds, shot 4 of 14 from the field, 3 of 10 from the 3-point line. One thing that crossed my mind when I was talking about Melo, his stats, I wonder what his Hall of Fame speech is going to be like. That's something that I'm like genuinely intrigued about. All right, Melo's not someone who really minces words too much with the media and stuff like that. Like, what is he going to say at his Hall of Fame speech? Because believe it or not, yeah, Melo's going to win make it to the Hall of Fame. Never really did anything in the NBA as far as winning, but as we know, was one of the best pure scorers during his time. And he did win some gold medals with the Olympic team, so I guess that's one of his boosters right there. But yeah, I just wonder, what's he going to say at his Hall of Fame speech? Is he going to have like a nice little 1-minute speech, or is Melo actually going to talk? I don't know. We'll see. Either way, OKC won this one 111-110. I think currently they are got to be like the 7th seed in the West right now. I think if the Pelicans are the 5th seed, the Trailblazers are the 7th. 6th, yeah, the Trailblazers are the 6th seed, Oklahoma City is the 7th seed, Denver's the 8th seed since LA ended up losing yesterday, the Clippers, not the Lakers. Alright, and then you got the Jazz, who are 2 games back of the Nuggets right now for that 8th seed. As for the next game, though, we had the New Orleans Pelicans facing off with the San Antonio Spurs. I picked the Pelicans in this one, and I was right. Alright, Anthony Davis, he had, I didn't even say the score. Pelicans won this one 121-16. Did I say the score? I think I did. Either way, 121-116, Pelicans win. Anthony Davis, 26 points, 15 rebounds, shot 9 of 19 from the field. Rajon Rondo with 13 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds, 6 of 14 shooting from the field, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. That's exactly what the Pelicans need from Rondo right there, doing a bit of everything for him. Then you had Drew Holiday with 25 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 of 18 shooting from the field, 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. That's one thing, too. Everyone's been talking about Anthony Davis stepping up since Boogie Cousins went down, but no one's been talking about Drew Holiday. Dude's been playing lights out in these last few games, all right? Last 2 weeks, I should say. I mean, the dude's been on fire this season, but when you play with Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins, you're not really going to get too much shine. But we see you, Drew Holiday. Then you had Etuan Moore with 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 of 15 shooting, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. Nikolai Mirotic had 13 points, 2 rebounds, shot 5 of 9 from the field. And then you had, Ian Clark had 10 points off the bench there. For the Spurs, you had LaMarcus Aldridge with 8 points, 3 rebounds. Like I said, sprained his ankle earlier, so he left that game, only played 13 minutes. You had Kyle Anderson Houston with 4 points in this one. Patty Mills, 11 points, only shot 4 of 10. Deontay Murray with 18 points, 9 rebounds, shot 8 of 15 from the field. Off the bench, you had Rudy Gay with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 15 shooting in that one. You had Joffrey Laverne, one of my favorite players, just kidding, but he had 14 points, 7 rebounds off the bench, shot 6 of 9 in 19 minutes of play. Tony Parker had 10 points, and then Manu Ginobili had 17 points, shot 7 of 13 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. And then as for the final game of the night, the Houston Rockets faced off with the LA Clippers, and Houston pretty much didn't look back. Blew out the Clippers in this one, 105-92. Trevor Ariza, 11 points in this one. PJ Tucker only had 3 points. Clint Capella, 22 points, 14 rebounds. Let's see, Chris Paul had 8 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 3 of 12 from the from the field, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. James Harden, 25 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, shot 7 of 14 from the field, 3 of 10 from the three-point line. One of those three-pointers came from the nastiest move of all time, all right? Steps back on Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson goes down. All right, it's pretty much like a crime scene. Wesley Johnson's on the ground, like looking up at Harden. Harden's like didn't even take the shot right after. He's just staring at Johnson. Then I can't remember who the Clippers defender was that was running up on Harden to try and block the shot, or trying to contest the shot. Harden then takes it and makes it. Dude, it was just ridiculous. All right, he crosses Wesley Johnson. Johnson hits the floor and then just a stare down. Probably the most disrespectful thing I've seen all season. Like I said, I mean, if that were to happen to me, I mean, it's the same like getting dunked on. If you get crossed and they hit a shot on you in the park, or you get dunked on, you can't go play basketball at that park anymore. You can't even hang out with those same friends. All right? You can't. It can't happen. Wesley Johnson is going to be known for this all season long and probably forever. All right? No one's going to forget about that just because of the simple fact James Harden disrespected him by just staring at him and then hit the three. I mean, it was just ridiculous. All right? Off the bench, though, you had Eric Gordon with 22 points. He shot 7 of 18 from the field, 5 of 14 from the three-point line. And as for the Clippers, all right, you had Tobias Harris with 24 points, 4 rebounds, shot 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line. DeAndre Jordan had 4 points, 16 rebounds. Austin Rivers only 6 points in this one. And then off the bench, you had Montrezl Harrell. Dude's been a beast all season. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 9 of 14 shooting. Let's see, and then you had Lou Williams with 13 points, 4 of 11 shooting, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. Once again, Rockets won that one, 105-92. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this segment. Next up, we're going to be talking some NFL, talking about the Cleveland Browns, maybe talk about the Miami Dolphins a bit, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. So far today, we talked about the NCAA, talked about yesterday's NBA games, and then for this segment, we're going to talk a lot about the Browns, okay? They have a whole bunch of picks, they have a whole bunch of cap space, and not really sure what in the world they're going to do with all of it, all right? You could go and use those picks on those first, you got like what, the first and the fourth pick in the draft in the first round. Could use it on a quarterback, then go out and get a guy like Barkley or Minkah Fitzpatrick. Or you can go out, get yourself a Kirk Cousins, get yourself a Case Keenum, get yourself a A.J. McCarron. Let's see, what else can you get yourself with all that money? You can get yourself pretty much whatever you want. All right, but the plan is like, it's pretty much what are they going to do? All right, today, John Dorsey, the GM for the Browns. Is it John Dorsey? I'm pretty sure it's John Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was the quarterback, right? Yeah, I think it's John Dorsey. Came out and said that they're open to trading the first round pick. And why wouldn't you be? All right. Actually, I don't know. The Browns have had all these picks for so long, but I feel like they've always just tried trading down in order to get more picks. And that all sounds good, but eventually you got to use the picks, right? I mean, you got the first and the fourth pick in the first round. Why not go get the two best players in the draft? All right, why not sign a Case Keenum or a Kirk Cousins and draft Saquon Barkley and Mika Fitzpatrick, or maybe Saquon Barkley and Bradley Chubb? All right, if the Browns want Barkley, I think they got to take him with the first pick. Okay, I think that he's gonna end up going to either the Giants or to the Colts. I don't think he slips past number 3. So if I'm the Browns, I mean, even then, all right, even if I don't sign a free agent quarterback, you could still take Barkley with number 1, and you're probably still going to have your choice at any quarterback you want, unless the Giants end up going with one. And if the Giants go with a quarterback, you don't have to worry about the Colts taking one. I'm sure that the Giants aren't going to be taking the quarterback that you want. All right, so I mean, it's up to the Browns as to what they do, but they got to do something, man. I just really hope they don't end up trading down, all right? Like I said, I mean, you take a Kirk Cousins or you take a Case Keenum, keep those top 2 picks. You have 7 picks in the first 7 picks within the first 97 total in the draft, all right? Just use them. You keep trading down, you're not going to get the best player that you could if you would have kept it, all right? Eventually, you got to cash in and start doing something. And as far as what they do at the quarterback position, I mean, there's the whole idea of going with a free agent quarterback. You could go with, like I said, a Keenum, McCarron, or Cousins, or you can go with a rookie. All right, I've been beating the whole Kirk Cousins drum, but it's seeming like he doesn't want to go play for a bad team no matter how much money they're offering. And I called it yesterday on the GSMC football podcast that he's going to be signing with Minnesota. All right, it's not no inside stuff or anything like that. It's pretty much just my opinion where I think he's going. And if he does go to Minnesota, I'm going to act like I had sources, okay? So that's just how it's going to end up. But either way, all right, let's say that Cousins goes to Minnesota. Then what? I say, I kind of like the idea of Keenum in Cleveland, but you know what? This is what I do, okay? I sign Case Keenum. Give him a nice little deal. You're not going to have to pay him too much money, probably around $20 million, between that Ryan Tannehill, Blake Bortles range right there. All right? You pay him that, okay? You keep your first 2 picks in the first round. You keep the first and you keep the fourth. You draft Barkley with the first pick. With the fourth pick, you take Mika Fitzpatrick, okay? And then in the second round, you go and you draft Mason Rudolph because Keenum's already 30. All right? Keenum's probably got 4 solid years left. You throw Rudolph back in there as a backup. He'll learn under Keenum for a few years. All right, learn under Todd Haley. Todd Haley's done well everywhere he's went as far as being a positions coach and offensive coordinator. All right, he's worked with quarterbacks before. He's done well with them. So you do that, and you're set. All right, with Keenum, you don't need him to do too much, like how in Minnesota. Okay, you already got a top running back. Yes, Saquon Barkley will be a top running back this year. All right, you got him. You got Josh Gordon, you got Corey Coleman, you got David Njoku, and you got a pretty solid offensive line. Then on the defensive side, I mean, you have young players, but they've been developing well, all right? And maybe they take the next step this year. You don't need Keenum to go out and do everything, and Keenum is still a pretty good quarterback if what he showed us is what he could be, all right? So I like I like that plan, all right? That's my plan for the Browns. We sign Case Keenum, forget about Kirk Cousins. We sign Keenum. We draft Barkley, draft Fitzpatrick, get Rudolph in the second round. That's a foolproof plan. I mean, it is the Browns, so nothing's foolproof. But like I said, I have this whole little theory that from 98 to this past year, I mean, that's 20 years of Browns misery, and the final chapter of that book is the 0-16 season. All right, there's no way they can get any worse. It's all got to go up from here. And like I said, if you're a Browns fan out there, go write a book about the 20 years of the Browns misery. All right, go talk about the 0-16 season. Talk about all the failed seasons. Talk about how they made it to the playoffs that one year with Derek Anderson. Didn't they make it to the playoffs one year with Derek Anderson? I'm pretty sure they did. They had to have, right? I might need to double check that. And then Hugh Jackson, too, said he's still going to jump. What is it, Lake Erie they got out there? I'm not sure. I'm a California kid, so I'm not really sure what's outside of here. All right, I really don't try to go outside my limits as far as that. I'll go to the nice resorts in Mexico and stuff like that, but can't go anywhere outside of California as far as the U.S. goes. But like I said, yeah, I mean, if I'm the Browns, with AJ McCarron, I don't know how much I like McCarron. Okay, I'd still stick to that plan. I say you go either Keenum or McCarron, but you still take Rudolph in the second round. And if I had my choice at either of the two, I'm going as far as McCarron and Keenum, I'm going Keenum. All right, because like I said, chances of them getting Kirk Cousins really doesn't look too good. Now that I think about it, I mean, all right. So hear me out right here. Okay, we had Case Keenum. We saw him; he was good for one season. All right. With that one season, compare it to Kirk Cousins' best season. Is there much of a difference between the quarterbacks? Okay, as far as ability, is there? If let's say what Case Keenum showed us is true, and We already know what Kirk Cousins is. Is Kirk Cousins that much better than Case Keenum? I don't think so. All right, I don't think so at all. I think they might even be on the same level. Like I said, this is all dependent on. Oh, so the Browns last time they played was 2002. I don't know. They had to do something with. Didn't they have one winning season with a certain quarterback after 2002? Or am I just crazy? Oh, I guess not. But either way, getting back to it. All right. Like I said, going back to the whole comparing Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins, I mean, there's not much of a difference. There isn't. Okay? Let's see if I can compare their stats this year. But like I said, I mean, Keenum is a good quarterback. Cousins is a good quarterback, but I just don't think that Cousins is that much better. All right? Cousins is that much more expensive. Keenum isn't. All right? I mean, do you want to pay a guy like Kirk Cousins, what is it, like $30-40 million a year? Or do you want to pay a guy like Case Keenum $20 million a year, and that's it? All right, you don't have to pay him a whole bunch of money. And you can, like, say you get a guy like Saquon Barkley. By the time Keenum's contract's over, you're going to have to pay guys like that. All the young guys, you'll have cap space for. All right, let's see. All right, I got their stats this year. Cousins threw for over 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 64% completion percentage. Keenum had a 67% completion percentage, almost 68. Threw for over 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 98.3 quarterback rating. All right. Obviously, the touchdowns for Cousins sound better. The yards are higher. The completion percentage is lower. The interceptions are higher, and the quarterback rating is lower. All right. I'd say that's about pretty even. Yes, Cousins threw 5 more touchdowns, 500 more yards. Keenum threw 6 less interceptions, completed more of his passes, and had a higher quarterback rating. I would take that over Cousins' season. All right. And I might just be trying to push my argument a little bit too much, but I'm telling you, there's not a real difference between the two. All right. And again, obviously, this is on the basis that Keenum is capable of having another good season. All right, Kirk Cousins' best season was in 2015, threw for over 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, over 100 or 101 quarterback rating, and then in the 2015 almost threw for 5,000 yards. Actually, that's pretty crazy. But I mean, Keenum is cheaper, Cousins is more expensive. I don't think there was much of a difference between the two last year. All right. So we'll see what the Browns end up doing, but I really think they should go Keenum, draft Barkley number 1, Fitzpatrick number 4, and then Mason Rudolph in the second round. All right, that way if Keenum doesn't work out, you still have your shot at Rudolph. You have 2 quarterbacks that you could hope work out. So we'll see what they end up doing. I mean, I have no clue. They could very well just maybe sign a Keenum, trade the first pick. If they trade the first or the 4th pick, I'm going to be pretty frustrated. All right, you got to use those picks. You got to. All right. You are one of the things. I don't know how many times has a team ever had 2 top 5 picks in a draft? Okay, I highly doubt it's very many teams have. You have an opportunity to go out and get the 2 best players in the draft. Okay, that's a possibility. So I don't know. We have to wait and see how it all ends up. Free agency starts March 14th, so about a couple more weeks, and then the draft starts. What is it? It's drafted in late April. I think it's in late April. Let me see if I can find out the date of the draft. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see how it all ends up. Off seasons, the free agency is all that's starting up soon, so I'm really excited for it. But we'll see what's going on as far as the Browns go. Let me see if I can find this date. It's on April 26th, so free agency starts March 14th, then you got the draft at the end of April. So, I mean, it's a lot of time for them to figure whatever is going on out. So that's all I got to say about that. Next up, we'll be talking about anything else going on in sports and making my picks for tonight's NBA games. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
right, and welcome back to the GSMC Sports Podcast. This is the final segment of the show. So far, we talked about the NCAA in the first segment, talked about yesterday's NBA games, which was Wednesdays, and we talked about the Cleveland Browns and what they should do with all those picks. I said you sign Keenum, you draft Barkley, you draft Fitzpatrick, and you draft Rudolph in the second round. Boom. Problem solved. Super Bowl champs. Just kidding. But either way, I think that's what they should do. All right. I say stay away from Cousins. I'm not sure if he's that much better than Keenum if we're comparing this past seasons. All right. Obviously, Keenum's only had one good season, but who knows if he can sustain it for consistently for next year and the years after, then it's a pretty good quarterback. All right. So we talked about that. This segment, as you know, all right, we talk about whatever. This is a sports show. So we're going to talk some soccer. All right. We're going to talk some football. Okay, so let's talk some football. Let's talk about Arsenal. All right, Arsenal Football Club. I think the other day they played Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final. All right, not a big tournament or anything like that in England. Not nearly as big as the FA Cup. Just pretty much just a little rinky-dink tournament. You're at Arsenal, they lost 3-0. All the fans are saying Arsene Wenger out. Arsene Wenger, for those who don't know, is the head coach. All right, the manager. All right, so saying for him to leave, get fired, all that. Not happening, whatever. Turns out, we get to play Manchester City on Thursday. All right, this time in the Premier League. What happens? They lose 3-0 once again. All right, this is a bit embarrassing for Arsenal. Used to be one of the best clubs in England. All right, I think in 2003 they had that invincible season. That's where you don't lose a game all year in your league. And, since then, I don't know. They haven't really challenged in the Premier League since. They've won FA Cups. I think they won 3 out of the last 4 FA Cups, so at least they've got that going for them. But, this year has just been really bad. I think already in 2018, we're in February, they got at least 5 losses, I think it is. I got to double check the stat. But either way, have not played good in 2018. All right, just have not played good at all. They brought in Lacazette in the summer transfer window. He hasn't done anything, or was it in the winter transfer window? I think it was in the summer. All right, either way, he hasn't done anything there. I don't think Wenger's put him in the right position to succeed. All right, you got Aubameyang. He's scored a goal. That's it, though, so far. They got him in the winter. You got Mkhitaryan. I'm not sure what he's been doing. All right. You got Granit Xhaka, who, I think about last year or whatever, was supposed to be a top center mid for that team. Just brutal. Defense has been playing poorly. Peter Cech is past his prime. All right, that whole team is just bad right now. It's bad. They used to pride themselves on being the best team in London. They're not even the top 2 team in London, all right? Believe it or not, they hate Tottenham, but Tottenham is probably the best team in that state, country, state or city. I don't know. How does that work? Is London a city? Yeah, London's a city. So, yeah, best team in that city, I think. I don't know. All this stuff's different from how we do it in America. But either way, like I said, it goes Tottenham, it goes Chelsea, and then it goes Arsenal. All right, and Arsenal is not near those 2 teams right now. Have not been playing well. I think they're 10 points off the top 4, 30 points out of first place. It's just been all bad. All right, I'm not sure how they bring back Arsene Wenger after this year. Not even sure how they bring him back after this game. The team is just not responding. They're not playing well, and they're just showing no heart. All right, and with soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, all right, the fans mean a lot. It's not like how in NFL and in the NBA, the fans just go show up to games and all that. No, the fans, they actually mean something as far as the teams go. All right, there is some entitlement, but they do put money into it and all that. All right, it's weird over there. Okay, it's just soccer's weird as far as the fans go. The teams, they owe something to the fans. I didn't really understand it at first, but now I'm starting to pick it up. It is what it is. Okay, the teams, they do owe it to the fans to go out and play well, and Arsenal just simply haven't. All right, like I said, and it's one thing to go out and lose, but it's another thing to play the top teams and just get embarrassed week in and week out. Because that's what they've been getting embarrassed. All right, just have them playing well. Don't score goals. Don't keep the other team from scoring goals. It's just been bad all around. They need to just start fresh. They need to get rid of Wenger, and like I said, just start fresh from it. All right, they should be a top club. They do have money. They refuse to spend it sometimes. This year they tried to, got Aubameyang and Lacazette, but like I said, that just hasn't worked out at all. I'm not sure what else they have left this season. There is nothing left this season. They're in Europa League. I think they're playing AC Milan in the Europa League. I think it's the knockout rounds now. So let me see if I can find it if they're actually playing AC Milan. I'm almost positive they aren't. If they lose that, they have literally nothing to play for the rest of the year at all. All right, let's see what we got going on in the Europa League. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Yeah, so they're going to be playing AC Milan on March 8th in Milan at the San Siro. Let's see what else we got. Is there any other good matchups in that? You got Dortmund. They're playing FC Salzburg. Olympic Lyon's playing Moscow. Marseille's playing Athletic Bilbao. It's pretty good there. So, yeah, we got Arsenal playing Milan. That's the best matchup right there. And if Arsenal can't get out of that, then, I mean, I don't know. It's all bad. I mean, I guess that's the only thing they have left to play for is the Europa League. And, I mean, if you get past Milan, you still got to worry about Madrid, Atletico Madrid. You got to worry about Dortmund. You got to worry about Marseille, Lazio, and RB Leipzig, who's a pretty decent team in the Bundesliga. So, yeah, they really got to get rid of Wenger, though. It's time. All right, did a lot with them before, but now it's just pretty much games passed them up, and this team just isn't playing well. So, that's soccer talk right there. That was the only game going on. Let's see, what do we got going on for the Premier League this weekend? We got any games going on? I know we got a bunch, but let me see. Is there any games on Friday? Let's see. We got... Actually, you know what? We'll talk about it tomorrow if we got games going on. Let's see. Nope, no games Friday. It's all Saturday and Sunday. Let's see. We got any top games going on Saturday? We do not. Nope. How about Sunday? We might. Or Manchester City and Chelsea. Really? They're going to play... Manchester City's going to play Thursday and Sunday. I mean, Arsenal's got to play Brighton and Hove Albion on Sunday too, but that's too short of a rest. Either way, though, that's all I got to say about that. All right, let's see what else is going on right now in the world of sports. Miami Dolphins, it's looking like they might be moving on from Ryan Tannehill. That's starting to build up some speed, all right? I'm not sure exactly if it's going to happen or whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if somehow they use Tannehill in that 11th pick to move up in the draft to go and draft a quarterback. They really like Baker Mayfield. Personally, I think Baker Mayfield's going to be a good quarterback. I think he'd be a fit there, but I think Miami needs a guy like Josh Rosen. I think that's the best quarterback in the draft right now. All right, you're probably going to have Kirk Cousins signing with a team like Minnesota or Denver. If Denver gets Kirk Cousins, and I say Miami trades up with them, give them the 11th pick and whatever else, and then you go out and you get a guy like Josh Rosen or Mayfield. But it's going to be interesting to see. And I don't know, like with Denver, if they get Kirk Cousins, that kind of makes it difficult to trade with them. Because I mean, if you're trying to get a quarterback in the top 10 or whatever, then you're trying to get rid of Tannehill. If you draft a quarterback in the top 10, you have to start that quarterback. But either way, we'll see. Still kind of seeing what's going on with them and Jarvis Landry. Not sure what's going on yet. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see. All right, this is going to be a real fun offseason. All right, I'm ready for free agency. I'm ready for the draft. There's a lot that could happen. I think it's going to be one of the most exciting off seasons, free agency draft times in a while. So yeah, we'll see. But let's make my picks for tonight's NBA games. We don't got too many games going on tonight. I think we only got like 4 games going on. We got a couple of good ones though. We got the Lakers Heat, Sixers at Cavs. That's going to be a fun one. Did the Sixers play yesterday? No, they didn't, I don't believe. Then we got the Nets and the Kings. That's going to be brutal. I wonder how much tickets are there. Then we got the Timberwolves playing the Portland Trailblazers. The games on TNT are the Trailblazers and Timberwolves game, and then the Sixers and Cavs game, all right? So first up, we got the Lakers playing the Heat. The Heat are 32-29. Lakers 26-34. Lakers are 11-20 on the road. Heat are 16-12 at home. So, I don't know. The Heat are favored in this one. The Lakers do have a pretty, I don't want to say, they're a below average team who competes. I'll say that, all right? Yeah, they're a below average team who competes. And I kind of want to go with the Lakers, but I feel like I got to go with the Heat. The Heat are playing decent basketball, a pretty good home team. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Heat, all right? I think Eric Spoelstra is going to drop a nice little game plan in order to beat this Lakers team. So I got the Heat winning that one. Then we got the Philadelphia 76ers playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Sixers aren't a good road team, 13-17 on the road. Cavs 21-9 at home. I'm going to go with the Sixers in this one, right? I think they're a team that's suited to beat a Cavs team like this, and the Cavs really haven't playing good defense. So I'm going to go with the Sixers winning this one. All right, LeBron possibly playing against his future team, probably so. If you're a Cavs fan, get over it. He's going to Philly. All right, then we got the Brooklyn Nets facing off with the Sacramento Kings. Oof, this is tough. All right, the Nets are just bad, not tanking, just bad. Kings trying to tank, also bad. I mean, the Kings got a worse home record than they do road record, 8-20 at home. That's 8-21 on the road. I need a coin to pick this one. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him know. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I got the Nets. All right, I'm picking the Nets to win this game. That's how it's going. That's just the type of game it is. I got the Nets. Then we got the Portland Trailblazers facing off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. This one is in Portland. All right, Minnesota's 13-19 on the road. Portland's 18-11 at home. Jimmy Butler's been out. Probably won't be back till playoff time. Hopefully for Minnesota. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers. I almost said it. Picking the Trailblazers is like the worst because you never know if they're going to come up and help you. I'm going to go with the Trailblazers, right? I got a good home record. Timberwolves are a bad road team. No Jimmy Butler. I mean, this Timberwolves team without Jimmy Butler wasn't that good, so I'm going to go with the Trailblazers, right? I think McCollum and Lillard are going to step up in this one. So that's the only game. That's the last game going up tonight. Like I said, only 4 games. To recap, I got the Heat beating the Lakers, Sixers beating the Cavs, Nets beating the Kings, and then the Trailblazers beating the Timberwolves. All right, only one upset pick tonight, and that is the Sixers over the Cavs. So that is going to wrap it up for today's show. Today we talked about the whole NCAA scandal a little bit more. Talked about yesterday's NBA games, which was Wednesdays. Talked about the Browns, and then for this segment, talked about Arsenal, kind of how much of a dumpster fire they are. Need to get rid of their coach. Talked about a bit about the Dolphins, and then we made my picks for tonight's NBA games. So thanks for listening to the GSMC Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. We'll be back tomorrow, so stay tuned till then, and we will talk to you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.